Well, hello and welcome to another broadcast of Forging Futures, where we're helping folks actually design their life rather than live that life by default. My name is Diane Graber. I'm your host for the podcast on a week-to-week basis. Glad to have you here today. So let's just jump right into it. What are we talking about today? We're talking about actually playing the hand that you've been dealt. Now, I know that's really broad spectrum, and I want to talk to you in respect to life in general and dealing with the hand that you've been dealt. But I also want to talk to you about your home-based business and network marketing and actually dealing with that hand that you're dealt. So let's start with life in general first. I know there's a lot of people out there that feel that they've really been dealt kind of a crappy hand in life. And, maybe some things didn't go really well for you in your childhood, maybe in your relationships as an adult and so forth. But I got to tell you, if you take every single hand that's dealt you and you learned something from it, it's all worthwhile. I'm a great example of this. I was a kid that was abandoned by my dad before I was even a year old. He left 4 children and a wife, just one of those went to the store and disappeared, never came back kind of guys. And I learned something from that as a kid. One thing being, if I ever did have a father figure in my life, I would very much appreciate that person. And as it turned out, I ended up with probably the best father-in-law ever that God could have ever blessed me with. And that gentleman just took me on as one of his own children and loved me and treated me like one of his own. And because of the background that I had with my dad, I learned to appreciate that probably more so than I would have otherwise. So in terms of playing that hand that you're dealt, if you learn something with all the bad cards that you get along the way in life, it really does make a difference in the long stretch. You'll find something that you can pull from those bad experiences to take into good experiences if you put the right perspective on it. Just as an example too, Brad and I have 3 children. Our firstborn actually is special needs. He's autistic. Little did I know that I would be the parent of a special needs child. I had no idea that that was in my future. But as it was, that was the hand that we were dealt. And that was the hand that we needed to play out that hand. There's no going back from that. You have to figure those type of things out. So we learned what patience was really all about. We learned what it was like to be different, and different is beautiful in every respect. So we learned a whole lot from that first experience. And then along comes child number 2, and he's gifted and quite honestly brilliant. And we needed to learn that hand and figure out how do you play that hand out. We went from special needs to gifted and talented, and how do you play that out? And then along comes number 3, and he was this incredible athlete. So how do you play that hand out? Well, quite honestly, you learn from each one of those experiences in life. So each hand that you're dealt from one sector of your life to the other, you have to figure some things out from it. And you have to take what's good from all of it, and you have to take what's bad from all of it and learn from it. Just as an example, from being the kid that was left behind by my dad, I knew what I was not looking for in a man to be the father of my children. I wanted somebody that would be there, somebody that would do what they said they would do type thing. And I found that. Fortunately, in my life, that's what I was looking for, and that's what I found. 42 years later, we're still happy, and we have 3 incredible kids. And, life has, dealt that really good hand to me. But it was because I learned from that initial hand as a kid that that's not the person that you're looking for. You don't want someone that has this addiction problem. You don't want someone that doesn't do what they say they're going to do. And so I looked for all the opposite of what I saw that my mother had picked. So you got to learn from everything that comes at you. And I can tell you that if you take all of the hands that you're dealt in life and you learn something from each and every one of them, it helps you then create that life by design. You figure out what you do want, you figure out what you don't want, and you make really good decisions based on those experiences that you've gone through to get to where you're at right now. So take a look at everything that's happened to you. Don't use it as an excuse to bow out of life and say, well, I came from a broken home. I'm going to create a broken home. My dad was an electrician, so I got to be an electrician. And don't look at life like that. Take the experiences that life has given you. Take the hands that you've been dealt and actually Work with those in each and every aspect so that you understand that there's a lesson that comes from each one of them. There's a lesson from every person that comes on your path. There's a lesson from every experience that you've been given, good, bad, or otherwise. And it's really all in how you process it and handle it and actually learn from it as to whether or not you're going to let bad experiences defeat you or you're going to let them raise you up. You know, I was that welfare kid that stood in line for government cheese and day-old donuts and such. I had made up my mind as a young kid that when I had children, I was going to provide for my kids so that they would never have to stand in a line like I did as a child. They would never have to put their name on a Christmas tree to get presents from complete strangers. So those were things that they were hands that I was dealt as a kid, but I learned from them that I would work as hard as I needed to, that I would do the things that was necessary to make sure that when I brought children into the world, they wouldn't have to experience those things. So I sought out the right person to be a parent with. I found someone that I knew I could count on. I found ways in life to do things that my kids needed. And sometimes, you know, more difficult than others. I mean, come on, life is life. And, you know, sometimes things aren't as easy as they should be. But nevertheless, you figure it out. And if you look at things from the right perspective, you will figure out what you need to do as an individual to get to that next level. That's all about creating life by design, figuring out what you want, the path that you need to be on to get to it, eliminating the negative things and the toxic things in your life that will take you down the wrong path and avoid what you really want. So sort through. If you got a handful of cards right now and it's a bunch of toxic people in your life, you know, you can fold them and you can get new cards. You can, you know, you can find other people in your world that will support you, that will encourage you, that will love you and understand you and make sure that you get to where you're looking to go. You do not have to settle for a life by default. And it's really important who you surround yourself with. Those are the cards that you're dealt. But quite honestly, you don't have to hold all of those cards. If you have toxic people in your life, you need to eliminate them. If you have bad habits, you need to replace it with better ones. If you have addiction issues, you need to seek out help. If you have things in your life that you know are not serving you well, that don't fit that design of what your life really should look like, that beautiful design that you know you have the ability to create, if you don't have all the pieces in place, all the cards in your hand to make that happen, get some new cards in your hand. Find some new people. Find some new experiences. Find some organizations to be a part of. Surround yourself with what you need in order to be successful, in order to feel worthy of success, in order to feel worthy of that beautiful life that you will cultivate. So it's real important that you play the hand that you're dealt, learn from everything that comes at you, good, bad, or otherwise, because let's face it, there's bad things that happen to good people. But if you learn from it and you apply that into a better portion of your life, it's all worth it. It'll make sense at some point. There were a lot of things that have happened in my life that didn't make sense at the time. But as I look back on it now, it made me stronger. It made me tougher. It made me more resilient. It made me more driven and goal-oriented. That's the things that at the time I didn't understand why they were happening to me. But as I look back now, I go, that just, prepared me for this particular moment in time. So it's really all a matter of perspective, and you have to put all that stuff in perspective and play the hand that you're dealt. One way or another, play it out, but play it out so that you learn from it. Now let's talk about playing the hand that you're dealt when it comes to your home-based business, your network marketing team. Hey, that's a whole nother story. Okay. Now, everybody that comes into your business, comes into your team is not an ace or a face card. Okay. Let's just face it. They're not. But everybody makes a difference in your business. For one thing, everyone that comes into your business should be contributing volume. Most people in our industry get paid based on volume. So they might come in as an 8 or a 7. But guess what? If you put a few more cards together with them, might be a full house, might be a flush, might be a straight. You never know, but you could come up with a good hand out of those couple of people that were 7s and 8s. And nevertheless, they at least add volume. So my advice to you in terms of building your team and actually taking care of those people that don't come in as an ace is that you need to make sure that everyone feels like someone. Okay. Don't make people feel as though they're just a 3 or a 4 in your team. They're not an ace. They're not a face card. They're not one of your top leaders, your top producers. Make everyone feel like someone. That's really important. It's really important in building a team of people because people get lost in the cracks. People get sidestepped. People look at other people and go, wow, they've done what I'm looking to do, but they did it in a lot quicker manner. And they have a lot more respect than I do in this team. That's not how you want people to feel. You want everyone to feel like they're someone because everyone contributes something to your business, whether it's just a volume, whether it's leadership, whether it's the fact that they will take you to someone who will blow up your business. You just don't know who these people are, where they're coming from, or what they're actually going to contribute on down the line. But it's important that you treat everyone like they're someone. They will appreciate it. You will gain way more respect as the leader of that team of people than you would if you're treating people based on what you think they are. And quite honestly, what they are is a gift. Every person that comes in your business, you should be treating as a gift. It's a gift to have people that will follow you. It's a gift to have people that believe in you enough that they want to participate with what you're doing. They want to be part of what's going on with you and your business. So treat everyone like someone. I promise it does make a difference. But play the hand that you're dealt, okay? You don't know what someone will help produce later on down the line, but you're always looking for those aces. I can assure you of that. Keep flipping over cards until you find those 4 aces, because once you do, then your business really takes on a whole nother level. But you got to go through the numbers of people in order to make that happen. But along the way, don't treat somebody that's a 7 or an 8 like they're a 7 or an 8. Treat them as though they have value. Treat them as though you appreciate them and that you value their opinions and that you value them being part of your organization. Because at some point, they might turn into a face card and you never know. They might just turn into an ace. So play the hand that you're dealt in life as well as in your business and just make everything count. Make everything count. All of the experiences need to count for something. And I promise you, it'll all add up to something really big. So create your life by design. Play that hand, but design the hand that you want in life. Make sure the right people are there. Make sure the right experiences are there. Make sure the right environment is there for you. And just get it done. Just do it and do it and do it until you get it done. And I promise you are going to be on the backside of this looking back going, wow, it really wasn't that difficult. I just needed to take the steps to make it happen. And once I did, now I've got this incredible life that I enjoy waking up to every day. I'm surrounded by people that love, care, and encourage me. And I love my life. That's where I want you to end up. By the time we're done here, I want you to end up waking up every day going, wow, this is an incredible life. So listen, if you like the podcast, give me a thumbs up, recommend a friend or two to join us. And for Pete's sakes, be well, be happy, and for everything, be kind to one another. It really is important right now. People are not kind enough to one another today. So you be the one to be kind to the next person. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.